bookshelf looks crooked, even though it's not. Might just be the angle. Just gonna give it a second. Hey everybody, welcome to Daily Motivation, 365 days of consistency, doing the same things over and over and over again until they become habit. So hey, thank you, I appreciate the likes, thank you for watching, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to take a look at these videos. Again, sometimes I wish I could be more consistent, but life's not consistent. Well, it is, but my day doesn't always go consistently, so I do these at the time that I can. And so I want to thank you for taking your time. If I don't shout you out, I'm not disseeing you or dismissing you. It's just I can't see you, but I do appreciate you taking your time. Like the great Jay-Z said, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate it. And if this message serves you well, please like, please share, and please comment. So today's talk is about inspired action. What is inspired action, Rich? Well, inspired action is the actions that we take that are purely inspired. They're not based off analytics. They're not based off structure. They're not based off systematics. They're not based off what you read in the research paper. They're basically solely off inspiration. So I was listening to an interview from Sarah Brinkley. Sarah Brinkley is the founder of Spanx. Spanx is one of the biggest retail companies on the planet. If you don't know Spanx, it's something that women wear under their garments so they don't see the panty lines. And it's something that she came with, I believe, 10 years ago. It was definitely in the late 90s, early 2000s when she was coming up with this idea. And in the interview, somebody asked her, how did you come up with such an idea called Spanx? And she said 2 years prior, she was working at selling fax machines door to door. So she was a door to door saleswoman. And she was going out to sell, but she hated her job. She hated everything about it. She knew this wasn't for her, barely making ends meet, selling a product that she knew was obsolete. So what she did was she wrote down on a piece of paper her goal. Her goal said, I want to make millions of dollars selling something for women that they can use every day. So she wrote that on a piece of paper because she had a knowing of the universe that when you ask, you shall receive. And all she wanted was an idea. So she knew what her goal was, to make millions of dollars selling a product for women that they can use for everyday use. And she let it go. That's two. When you want to manifest, you got to let it go. You can't hold on to the stress of the idea. You kind of got to let it go. But long story short, 2 years passed, and she accidentally ripped off her pantyhose. She kind of stuck her foot in there. But she left the pantyhose on because she said, hey, this is good for no liner. And it was lightning in a bottle. So the idea hit her, and she remembered, hey, I asked the universe for an idea. So when the universe actually hits you with an idea, the number 3 thing you want to make sure that you do, the major point in this interview was, she acted on it immediately. So when the universe gives you an idea, that's the difference between inspired action. It's not something that you've been, I'm going through my books, I'm going through my research papers, I'm trying to figure out. It's just an idea that hits you. And then that's the universe saying it's time, act on it now. So she acted on it now. Took her several years to provide the manufacturer, find distribution, find anyone that could actually make the product, and would the product even work. But the greatest thing about the story is about a year and a half later, from the time she came up with the idea, she had that product in Neiman Marcus. And then after Neiman Marcus got it, Oprah found out about the idea because she sent Oprah a product, and Oprah sponsored her idea, which made her a multimillionaire, which now she's the biggest company, one of the biggest companies on the planet. Why was the difference? And somebody asked her, she said, hey, how did you get to Neiman Marcus? She said, I called them. Where did you get the idea to call them? Because we've been going to all these trade shows. She said, I had the idea. So when you ask the universe for something, it will return to you in inspired action. That is the universe telling you that it's time to act now, and it's time to act on this idea now. Versus most people look for research papers, or they try to find the accumulation of knowledge. But the issue is, by the time they really reach their research paper and their knowledge, the ideas change. Everything has shifted. So you're actually behind the 8 ball. Versus when you're inspired to do something that no one else is doing. When you're inspired to do something that no one else has even thought of. To be inspired when most people are going to say, hey man, that's a crazy idea. That's stupid. Why would you do that? Nobody's doing it now. That's the idea to take. I made mistakes years prior, not acting on ideas when I was inspired to. Now, anytime I get an idea, I act on it. Somebody asked me, Rich, why are you doing 365 videos? I said because I'm inspired to. It was an inspired action. It just came to me as an idea, like a lightning in a bottle. It said, you're going to do 365 videos. Because I already wrote my goals down. I already wrote what I want years ago. And it's the universe saying, okay, it's time to act on it now for your idea to manifest. But it will only manifest if you take the idea and act on it now. And when I first heard a 365-day video, I mean, doing a video every day, that's crazy. That thought that it's crazy told me that's the idea to act on. See, when you are in a state of asking and receiving from the universe, you send out the ask and let it go. And in time, the universe will return to you in an idea, on an impulse, on an action step to take. I was listening to Abraham Hicks this morning, and she said that's the true essence of alignment. When you have an idea to go and do something that you've been desiring, that you've been wanting. But instead of holding on to the idea, stressing out about it, like, oh, it's never going to happen. You know, when is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? We say, I ask, I let it go, and it returns to me in an idea. And when the idea hits you, you act upon that idea instantly. And then that's leading you to the goal that you've been asking for and the desire that you want. See, we have to understand, one of my biggest issues when I read the book, The Secret, even though it's a great basis of a book, but it doesn't really tell you how to manifest. It really doesn't. It tells you the basis, but it doesn't really tell you how to manifest. Why? It doesn't give you the details. Because most people think, okay, I say my affirmations, I ask for what I want, I pray for what I want, I have this desire that I'm sending out, but nothing's happening. Why? Because we think that it's just going to fall in our lap. I asked for $1 million and someday I'm just going to get a check in the mail saying $1 million, which could happen. Don't get me wrong. It could happen that way. But always remember, you are the vessel through the manifestation that happens. It flows through you, not at you, but through you. So there's some action steps that you have to take. And so those real manifestations starts as an idea, as an impulse to take action. Of something you never even thought about before. You just wake up at 4 in the morning and says, do that. And you say, okay. And that's leading you to the manifestation. The manifestation flows through you. It's not going to be handed to you. It flows through you, through ideas and through concepts that you have never thought of before. That's how you know it's not your idea. Again, if all you're doing is doing strategy, which strategy is good, don't get me wrong. You want to do strategy. And systems, you want to have systems. And you want to have structure. But if you want to truly manifest to the greatest you, the greatest thing that you're trying to gain, the greatest possibility of your life, it only comes through the manifestation that comes through you, which most likely is an idea, an impulse. Sometimes it could be like, hey, usually I have Chinese on Wednesdays, but today I want Thai. I don't know why. I'm going to go to this random Thai restaurant because that's leading you to the manifestation that you've been asking for. That's how it happens. But it starts as an idea, as an impulse, as an inspired action to move versus just an action. Because we know tons of people that make effort. They push every day and nothing happens for them. Why? Because they have yet to take inspired action. It's more details, but I talk about it in my book, Destiny on Purpose, How to Get What You Truly Want Out of Life, on the chapter of the Law of Visualization. So if you have not read my book or listened to the audio, I advise to because it will teach you about inspired action. And if you don't, that's fine too, but I would look it up. Abraham Hicks, Wayne Dyer, Jack Canfield, those are really good sources. Bob Proctor, those are really good sources on explaining inspired action. I can only explain it through my own learnings, the things that came to me in my own life experience. But the reason I have what I have and I do what I do and I get lucky all the time is because of inspired action. The actions that I take that are inspired, that are just told to me to take, versus going off my own ideas of what I think is right or wrong. Again, this is Rich Fontaine. Either you could agree with me or not agree with me, but either way I feel this was a successful conversation. I appreciate all of you. Love is love. And hopefully you find your inspired action to take action today in your own life. Because, man, it works. It works. I got some stuff going on in the background. I don't want to talk about it just yet because I'm a results person. I like to talk about the results versus the process. But I will talk about the process soon enough. That things are really moving, and it's because of the actions that I take that are inspired. Love is love. I love all of you. Namaste.